What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Nathan Skills, and this video is a complete guide to every boss in the Division 2 Operations Dark Hours raid. Now this video is going to be showing you guys every single boss, and I created each of these individually, but then people were saying, hey, can you make one video together? And I felt that the perfect place to put that was on my team channel, since each one of these is on my main channel. So there will be timestamps. If you guys still struggling with the raid, use the comment section down below. Also remember, if you find these videos useful, always hit the thumbs up. It helps out my videos, and I appreciate all the support. Enjoy, and hopefully you guys can beat the raid after watching this. And the first boss we're gonna go into is Boomer. Now, the first thing we want to get into is location. So we have 41, where one turret is located, and then 45 is where the second location of the turret is. Those are probably the two key locations that your team should always be calling out. Then you also have these generators that I'm pointing at right now that bring up a force field that do not allow you to do any damage to any of the NPCs. So these are going to be something that you need to use the turrets to drop down initially. So the first thing you guys want to do is have one guy come to 41 and one guy's going to go to 45. So you're always going to shoot the back shield first and then the front shield. And then you're going to go to the opposite side. 45, he's going to be doing the same thing at the same exact moment. One thing you have to pay attention to is there will be some enemies coming out of 43 and then 40, and 40 likes to attack 41. So if you have some players stacked up over here, they can knock out the guys at 40. Guys come out of the donut shop. Now once the guys finish at 43, they're going to kill those enemies and they're going to head over here to the burger shop, and then they're going to fight all the guys over here. Remember, 45 is going to shoot the back generator first and then the front generator so that the force fields go down initially. Now the guys who are stacked up at the burger shop, they need to watch for the burger entrance. Also at the donut shop, you need to worry about the guys coming out the donut shop, and then of course 40. So the team on this side is focusing all of this, and remember, everybody on the other side is going to flank over here. Now once you clear out this area, this is when you initially will get Boomer. So let's see what it looks like in real time in actual gameplay. So we have one enemy at 43, which I told you. My guys on my team are going to flank over to the burger shop, head over to the donut shop, and help kill the enemies over here. This team should already be about to eliminate everybody. There might be one or two guys by the time we get over here if they're doing their job correctly. So we finish off the ads, and now Boomer's going to pop out. So the door that Boomer comes out is this door right here, and what you want to do is have one guy grab his aggro, and that's usually me on my team. We always designate me to do it. So I'm going to keep shooting him until the eye comes to me. It should transfer to me in just a second. Now you can see I have the eye. Also, if you look at the names, it says Boomer on me, and what you want to do is just bring him right in front of the turret at 41. As soon as he's about to go down, the guy on the turret needs to say he's about to go down, so we all know. Everybody aims for the head. Try to get as many headshots as you can. As soon as he gets up, everybody needs to flank to the opposite turret, will be 41. So you start at 45, you come to 41, and you need to clear out all the enemies on this side, and then someone just needs to get on the turret. So I got on the turret, I'm calling him out, I'm saying he's about to go down, everybody starts focusing him, and the guy on the turret, another thing he can do is keep shooting the turret at the head of Boomer, because that's some extra damage you can get. After you drop them down the second time, most likely the computers are going to come up. And what I mean by computers, inside of the middle coffee shop, there are monitors all the way around. If you look, I'm running around. There are these little computers. One says CD, that's Alpha, that's Bravo. And on these monitors, they will light up, and then they'll tell you exactly what you need to know of what computer you need to hit. Sometimes it's only one, so you'll call out Alpha. Sometimes it'll have three, so it might be Alpha, Bravo, Charlie. Sometimes it'll be all of them. So you need your whole team to be paying attention to that, because when it is more than two, sometimes you need a lot of guys to go in there, hit the buttons, and that way you guys can keep those generators from coming back up and creating those force fields where you can't do any damage. But before the computers ever come up, you will hear a sound go off. You hear that sound? It's like a little alarm. That's when someone should be looking at the computer screen, calling it out, and one of you guys should be hitting it. Now whoever has the eye right now, have the eye, you need to make sure you're always looking at his chest. His chest lights up green. If he keeps lighting up green, he will heal. So what you need to do is make sure, if you have the eye, you're always kind of running where you can see his chest, and that way you can stop him from healing, and it doesn't delay the process of beating him. Remember, you guys are always going to rotate from 45 to 41 to 45, and you guys move as a team. Everybody who doesn't have the red eye on them should be taking out all the enemies. The guy with the red eye should be focused on his chest to make sure he doesn't heal up and he doesn't get any of that armor back. And make sure that you always bring him to the turret, right? So that way when the guy on the turret drops him, you can just focus his head, and then once he gets back up, you just head over to 45. Now remember, during this whole time, always make sure you're listening for the computers. You might want to just have one guy float around the middle, and that way you can call it out. If it's more than 3, then I would recommend sending someone else in there to help him out. I've had the eye a lot, so this was actually a really good example for you guys to show you if you have the eye, you need to always bring him in front of the turret. So that way the guy on the turret has an easy job of dropping him, and then you guys can put out more damage on him, right? Now, if for some reason the computers go off and you can't get them fast enough, you're just going to have to get on the turrets and use the turrets to shoot the generators down, right? Make sure you guys pay attention to his chest because you don't want him to heal up while you guys are trying to shoot the generators. So try to shoot his chest before he ends up in the blue circle. Now once you knock down all the generators, have the guy on the turret shoot it, and then all you have to do is focus his head. Once you get his armor bar gone, you can continue to fire at him if he stands up. So we have one more rotation. We're going to clear out all the enemies on this side. Be careful because they start to stack up. I'm going to get on the turret. I'm going to focus on just dropping the generators. Why they bring everybody over here. I need to heal up, and then someone else was able to get on it. See, I got the one generator that he would be in front of, so they're able to drop him, and then we're just able to finish him off. So sometimes you don't even have to finish all off the generators. Now once you kill Boomer, all you have to do is kill off all the enemies, and that's it. You secure the area and you can collect the loot, and it's that simple, guys. I know a lot of people have trouble with this. I feel the biggest issue that most teams have are they don't have enough DPS. If they do have the builds and the DPS, I feel like it's more they're not clearing the ads and they're letting the ads gather up. So what you should be doing is every time you rotate to 41 to 45, you're clearing out all the enemies in that area. The next boss we're going to get into is Weasel, and it's a little easier to do than most of the other raid bosses. So this one should be pretty quick to teach you guys, but these are some tips, some tricks, an easy guide for you guys to complete it. So the first thing you need to do is hit this computer. When you guys are going through, it's going to say activate. Once you activate it, you're going to have one team go to Alpha and one team go to Bravo. So either subgroup 1 go Alpha, subgroup 2 go Bravo, however you want to do. But both of these elevator doors will open up. So one team will go left, one team will go right. Now once you do get down to the bottom, you have these 3 panels right here. The way I like to do it is the front of the plane is located closest to where you came down on both sides. So the panel closest to the front of the plane will be Alpha, the middle will be Bravo, and the end will be Charlie. This is an easier way for you guys to call it out. Remember, there's going to be one guy on my side you hitting the panels and one guy on the other side hitting the panels. Now, you're always going to have one backup guy to hit the panels, and you're going to want one of the backup guys right there, and then on the other side, you're going to want the second backup guy on this side. Because as soon as you activate the panels, you will get targeted with a red eye, and it's not going to let you hit the panels again because you're going to be getting bombarded and you'll probably die. So that's what you have the backup guy for. Now, if you are targeted, I recommend being under this cover right here, away from your teammates, and then the same thing on the other side. So you're just going to make sure that if you have the eye, you're always under that covered area, and then hopefully your teammates can stay away from you, and that way they're not getting hit by gunfire or bombs. Now, if you guys do mess up on the panels, you'll get this error screen, and then you just have to wait for it to reset. Now, whatever side has the green panel, they will be calling it out. Like right now I have it, it's Bravo. I call it out, 3, 2, 1, push it. We push it at the same time, and then we'll get our first wave. So the purple side is the non-damage side, and then the orange side is the damage phase side. So when it initially goes off, you can still do a lot of damage, but you'll get to a point where you'll only be doing like 100 to 200 damage. Now, if you look under your armor kit, you're gonna see this symbol that looks like an SMG, right? Well, that symbol has a countdown that's going up. Now, once you hit to 15 seconds, you need to send the backup guy to the panels, and he's going to be calling it out, and that's where you're going to hit the panels again. And that will switch from purple phase to damage phase. So you'll go from our side, we'll get the damage phase, so we'll be able to start doing more damage, and the other side will switch to purple phase. Now, you guys want to keep swapping this back and forth. Every 15 seconds, you guys want to head to the panel, call it out, and that way you guys don't take any damage. Now if you do not make it within 20 seconds, you'll start to get dizzy. The purple side will start taking a lot of damage, health damage, and it's going to get really hard to beat. Now one of my recommendation is if you get one boss to half health, you break his arm, you get him to half health, you hold off until the other team can finish off their boss, and that's when you'll finish off yours. And the reason why you do this is because once the main boss comes down, it gets kind of crazy when you have two bosses shooting at you. So if you can always finish off both bosses before the big boss comes down, that's a perfect run. Right here we did end up leaving one of the smaller bosses up, so we have to wait to damage phase to finish him, but you can see that he's in health damage, so we should be able to drop him pretty quick as soon as the gas changes to orange, which is damage phase, right? Because remember, now it's automatically going to switch back and forth. Now as soon as you start seeing the orange smoke drop down, that is when you know you need to tell all of your teammates they need to focus the smaller boss, drop him real quick, so that way you just have to worry about Weasel. So this part is pretty easy as long as you guys can do a little bit ad control, getting those enemy NPCs that are running around. Be careful with the sniper up top. You're gonna notice I try to hit the boss with the grenade launcher and I end up getting sniped. I had almost full armor, I get sniped and I get dropped. So there are snipers that hang out in the windows. There's usually one sniper on each side, so you can have one of your guys kind of focus him, drop him pretty quick, and that way the rest of your team doesn't have to worry about dying to a sniper. Now remember, purple phase, you will start to take a lot of health damage, so make sure you guys are healing up as much as possible, staying in cover, using patience. And then once you see that orange smoke come out, that is when you guys should be putting out enough damage on the boss so that way you guys can drop him, because he's not too hard to beat. Remember, if you have the eye, stay away from the rest of the group. One thing I've noticed is if you're the one putting a lot of DPS on him, say like you're in front of him and you're hitting him with a lot of headshots, you tend to get the eye pretty quick targeting you. So just know that if you're putting a lot of DPS on him, you're hitting him with those hard hitting shots, you're more likely to have the eye on you a lot of the time. Now the boss has three types of weapons. He has a machine gun, he has a grenade launcher, and then he has a sticky bomb. Now his sticky bomb is on a timer, so it doesn't explode right away. So if you get stuck with it, pull away from the rest of your team so you don't end up dropping them too. Now just rinse and repeat. As soon as you guys get that orange smoke, unleash the power on him, destroy him, and once you beat him, you just have to clear out the remainder NPCs that are running around. The sniper up top should drop down. That's it. It's that simple. It's pretty simple to do. I want to say for me, Weasel is one of the easier bosses. I think Boomer is a lot harder. I think Lucy and Buddy are harder, and then of course Razorback is definitely harder. I feel like this one, as long as you can control the panels, it should be smooth sailing. If you guys pass Boomer and you guys come to this one, you'll notice the big difference that Boomer's a lot harder than this one. The next boss we're going to get into is Buddy and Lucy. Now this one did get a buff in Title Update 4, but this method and this video was filmed in Title Update 4. So Lucy spawns on the opposite side of me and Buddy spawns on this side. Currently you are not seeing them because this has already been completed. Now the technique for this is pretty simple. You want to have 3 guys go on Lucy's side, so you're going to have 1 guy come back here. You're going to have 1 guy come over here, and then the 3rd guy can be a floater somewhere in the middle, but I like pushing forward a little bit until we bring Lucy in the room. Your goal is to bring Lucy into this room. Now at the very beginning, remember Lucy's going to do a big sweep, so you want to stay in cover, and if you're going to stand back here where I'm at, just duck every time the sweep comes, but keep firing at Lucy if you're the main man on this side, because that's going to draw Lucy into this room, and there should be 1 guy on the opposite side doing the same thing to Buddy. Now with Buddy, you want to bring him back here, and you want to keep him in this area. Now since Buddy does have a strong heal, you're going to want to keep him in this general area, because the fact is you need to be able to shoot him. You're going to have 5 guys over here in a good position just unloading on Buddy. Look in front of this guy right here, he's in cover, but the other 4 guys are already shooting, and there's another guy behind him, and they're just unloading because the heal on Buddy is very strong. So you need to have enough DPS on this side, and as long as you keep them in this area right here, they don't have to worry about the sweep or getting hit by the sweep from the other side. So the rule of thumb is you want to have 5 guys on one side, 3 guys on the other because of the heal. The heal did get buffed in Title Update 4, but it's pretty much manageable. Now if you're looking at the very top, you're seeing the bar, right? You're seeing Buddy go down, and then all of a sudden you'll see Buddy start to heal. Sweet. Lucy never heals, and that's why you keep them apart from each other. Now Buddy's side has to be really cautious with the heal, because when that heal comes in, it starts to heal a lot. Look at that. But the good thing about it is if there's enough DPS on there, even if he goes into enrage, that's when he goes past those little blocks, the DPS should be strong enough to not have to worry about him going back to the middle and healing back up. Now there are two things I want you guys to notice is there are two computers that you never will interact with. That can stop the enrage. It's honestly just a lot faster to put enough DPS on whichever one has more health to bring them closer together than really worrying about hitting those computer boxes. So we never hit those computers throughout Buddy and Lucy. So this boss, if done correctly, can be completed in about a minute to a minute and a half, and that's what you're going to see in just a second. We complete this boss in a minute and a half, and this is the updated version. So this is the title update, Buddy and Lucy, with Lucy healing more. If you're watching the top, the other guys are consistently hitting Buddy. If we need them to stop because one of us goes down or we start to get hit, that's when we would tell them. Now, anytime Lucy does this sweep right here, this gun, we call sweep. So the other guys on the other side know they have a chance of getting hit. So if they're not in cover, they might get hit. If you're watching the bar at the top, you're going to see Buddy's side is always trying to keep Buddy at the lower end of those little blocks. And that's going to help them when Buddy heals up. And if we can keep Lucy around middle, that'll give us some playroom with Buddy and Lucy. But if you guys have enough DPS on the other side, 5 guys and 3 guys on this side doing enough DPS, you should never have to worry about it. And even on the other side, if you see Buddy goes into enrage, you can hold off for a second, let them do enough DPS on Buddy, and there won't be any issue. Now once you get to 2 bars, we recommend just having the 5 guys on Buddy's side, unloading the full DPS and finishing off Buddy, and then on Lucy's side, as soon as Buddy's down, it's a cakewalk. You don't have to worry about anything, and it's that simple, guys. I think Buddy and Lucy takes a little bit of communication, a little bit of teamwork, but it's also one of the easier bosses to do in the Division 2 raid. Let me know if you guys still have any issues with this boss. Buddy and Lucy seem to be the ones that people are having trouble with because of Buddy's new heal. But remember, don't worry about the computers. If you set up with the 5-3 split, you guys should be perfectly fine. Have a little communication, try to keep the mics clear, have that DPS, and there shouldn't be any issue. Now the final boss we're going to get into is Razorback. This one is a little bit more difficult and requires a little bit more communication and teamwork, but it's not that hard to do. Communication and teamwork will take you a long way, and having good DPS builds. And I'll be trying to give you guys the easy way to do it, so that way you take your time. It might take you 35 minutes, 45 minutes just to beat this boss, but you guys will get through it, and as you guys perfect that, you guys can cut down the time and beat it within like 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 minutes. But we'll start off with the easy way for you guys to do it, and then I'll let you guys just watch my speed runs to see how you guys can speed that up. So when you first drop in, the boss, the big boss, is right in the middle, and you can just divide this map into a big square, and you should have 2 players teamed up. So you have one where you see where I'm at right now. This is 1 generator. There's 4 generators in a small square. So where Freddy is across from me, that is 4. North of me, where Angel at, that's gonna be 2, and then across from him where Thick is at, that is going to be 3. So that is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and my battle buddy is going to be the Great Archon. So he's behind me. So what you want to do is have 4 guys on the inside, 4 guys on the outside. The job of the 4 guys on the outside is pretty simple. If you guys are going to take this nice and slow, all they have to do is clear all the ads. So since the inside is where a lot of the work gets done, we'll talk about this first. So we're going to rewind it a little bit and show what I was doing. So we know there's 4 generators, right? So you guys have to communicate when you guys get on these. You guys have to count down, say, hey, 3, 2, 1, we're getting on. Because if you look, there's a percentage going up. I'm at 30%. You need those all to hit 100% around the same time. If one gets at 100% too fast, you'll get these rockets that shoot at the person who gets there too fast. But once this hits 100, on both sides, exactly where you're seeing right now, there's going to be these little red grates that open. You have to either shoot it with a crossbow or shoot it with your guns. When you destroy it, then you have to throw a frag grenade in. Once you throw a grenade on both sides, it will open up the weak points, and you have to focus. So what we focus on, what I recommend you guys doing, is having everybody come to the south side first, focus on the weak point that we're shooting right now. So you're going to do these same steps for every weak point. But focus this one, and you guys should have enough DPS to destroy the weak point each time. Now we're going to have to do this on both sides, and I'll show you that in a second. Now after you destroy the weak point, you guys are going to roll off, because the big boss is going to shoot out 2 missiles. You roll. Everybody should head back to the area because a boomer is going to come out. And that is where either the guy up top has to call the boomer or the guy at bottom. So they'll call it out by boomers at 1, boomers at 2, 3, 4. When boomer comes out, what he's going to try to do is he's going to try to set off the missile. And the missile, if he gets that off before the guys on the outside can destroy it, that's the end. That's a wipe. Then you have to start the whole thing all over again. And once you guys do kill boomer, you guys are going to call for the guys to get on the inside. And everybody's going to say, okay, 3, 2, 1. Everybody's going to go on the inside. And that way you can start it over. Now you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Remember, when this gets to 100, you guys are either going to use a crossbow or you guys are going to shoot this with your guns. Like you can destroy it with your LMGs. Like some people just like shooting it with their LMGs. Some people like having survivalists on the 4 guys on the inside so they could just go switch off. So one guy uses the crossbow, one guy throws a nade. Like this guy's using his crossbow first, then I'm throwing my nade. Once it's open, we shoot the drones. So I recommend shooting these drones while they're just sitting here, finish them off, and then you're going to go to the other side. Now when you get to this side, to play it safe, I call this the safe way to complete Razorback. You're just going to want to leave this at 10%. Now once you get this to 10%, have everybody go back to their areas, kill boomer, and then the next time you guys do this, you guys will be on damage phase. And I'm going to skip forward to that part, right? So we all go back to our own sections, and then I'm going to skip forward to us going into damage phase. Now we're already got everything set up. We're at 100%. We throw the nades in. Everybody's shooting the drones real quick to knock out some of the drones. Now we're going to go into damage phase. So what that means is as soon as we finish off the little bit of 10% we have for the weak point, that means at the very top the health bar is going to pop up, and we can drop that at least to half health. Once you drop it to half health, it closes. So we're just waiting for them to get their side open. They just got their side open. So we're going to destroy this weak point right here. Once we destroy this weak point, we only have a little bit left. Look at the top. Okay, there we go. We have half health. So now we can put out enough DPS to drop this to half health. Once we get this to half health, it's automatically going to close. So there's 4 phases right here. You have to do this 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%. So now we have to be on the lookout for boomer. So look, boomer came out again. Usually after you finish each phase, you'll have a boomer. So I'm already over here ready to help my teammate out. We're going to finish off boomer. Now that we finished off boomer, we can get back on there. Everybody should either grab ammo if they need ammo because they're back at their section. And then we're going to say, hey, everybody, let's get back on. And then we're going to do the same thing until we can get this half done. So we're going to work on the south half first because I always feel like that's the harder half. And then you want to work on the north half. Now, a little secret I did, and I tell a lot of my teams to do, is leave the top half health, leave like 10% left of health. So look, we're going to destroy it. We already destroyed one weak point. We're finishing off this weak point, and we're going to go into damage phase. Damage phase is when you can hit the health. Now, what I always tell my teammates is leave like 10%. The reason why is because once you go under 50%, you get 2 boomers. And for newer teams, that gets kind of tough. So I always say leave like 10%. You see how we just left 10%? So we're still above the shield. Once you go below that, you're going to have 2 boomers. So we're pretty much done on this side, right? We're going to go to the north side, and we are going to wipe that side out. And then when we come back to this side, it's just one less thing we have to do. Now, you don't have to do it like this, but this was just a tip that we did when I was helping out a couple teams do it that were struggling having 2 boomers. Because the great thing about it is you can take off another 25% of health without getting 2 boomers. So you'll be at about 35% health before you end up getting 2 boomers. And that's what's really cool about this method and why it's for, I call it the safe way to do it. Like, this isn't what we do on our speed runs, but this is a safe method for you guys to try. And once you guys get back on, you guys are going to do the same method. It's going to go to 100, but this time we are shifting to the north. So the 2 guys at the bottom will shift to the north. The great thing about over here is because a lot of times you can have the top 2 guys help a lot more because the weak points are out in the open versus the ones here, they're a little bit more covered, so it's harder for people to help out. But this side, look, when I get to the top, the guys up top can actually help. If they, like where Hasun is at, he can help shoot the weak point, and we can actually drop this. So you can have your top teammate shooting drones. Once he's done with the drones, he can start firing here, and you could probably hit 1.5. Like, But if you want to play it safe, just worry about knocking out one. Everybody goes back. Remember, the missiles shoot. They're going to shoot always 2 missiles. You roll, and then you roll again, and you will always miss those missiles, right? You'll never get hit by the missiles. And then you go back, and you wait for them to call out Boomer. Once they call out Boomer, you clear Boomer, then you tell everybody to get back on. Now, on this one, just like we did on this side, you leave it at 10%, and then you go for damage phase. So you have to do technically 3 phases to get to damage phase. So we're just shooting the drones here. Now you're going to see everybody pushes back up. We're going to hit the right side now, and we're going to get it almost to complete. We're just going to keep firing all the way until we can. And I end up shooting the heel up there, but ignore that. But yeah, so you keep shooting, you keep shooting, you keep destroying it. And then once we get this down, you're going to see we're almost complete with it. And it closes on us, so the next phase will be damage phase. You have everybody roll back. Just make sure everybody's rolling. You see my Unbreakable saved me. So if you haven't seen my builds that I'm using, I actually have both these builds on my channel, except I don't use the AK anymore when I'm running I run double LMGs, or I run an LMG and the Nemesis. But I have both my builds that I use for the speed runs that we set world records with on my channel. So if you want to check out those builds, those are on my channel, and that's what I would recommend for you guys, either running outside or inside. So now we are in damage phase for the other side. Now remember, once we do damage phase on this side, we get 2 boomers, so everybody has to be on the lookout, has to be calling it. The outside guys, this is where they have to be on point. They're going to say boomer 1, boomer 2. So look, we're already at damage phase. As soon as we get 25% here, which is the max you can get each time these health bars open up, we're now going to have 2 boomers. So this is where everybody will call it out. We'll head back to our section. As soon as you guys kill the boomers, that's when the guys on the inside should be pushing back to get back on. If the boomer's not on your side, when you have 2 boomers, help out your teammates. If you could shoot from 1 to 4, do that. If you could shoot across, do that. Once you kill the boomers, you communicate and everybody gets back on, and you just do the same thing over and over. Now once you get to the final damage phase on this side, you got to do the same thing, right? Like you shoot the crossbow inside, you throw a nade, and then everybody comes to this side, you hit it. But then we're still going to have 10% on the opposite side, so we're still going to have to do this one more time, right? Now if you didn't leave that 10% and you guys just went for it, well, that's one less rotation you have to do. But since we were doing it safe, this is what we're doing. This is what I say. If you guys are struggling too bad to kind of deal with those boomers, well, then do it like this. But if you guys all have really good builds, you don't have to leave that 10% like we did. This is just an easier guide for you guys to do that. You guys can cut that out. So right now when we do that, we would head back to the computers. But since we left 10%, we still have to do the other side. So now we are finally on our last damage phase. We went back to the other side. We hit the weak points just like you were doing, because remember, you still have to shoot the weak points on the other side. But we finished all the weak points, and now we're going to go into damage phase. So if you do leave 10%, you still have to do weak points on the left and right. So we're going to finish off this weak point right here. Once we finish off this weak point, we have the final 10%, and there we go. Now once you do this, everybody at 1 needs to go to 1. Everybody at 2 needs to go to 2. Everybody at 3 should go to 3. Everybody at 4 goes to 4. Now once the monitor lights up red, that's when you can shoot it. So you shoot your side, and when you finish with yours, I would recommend going to have one guy go to the one on the left and one guy go to the right. So we're at 2 right here. I would send Forcey to 1, and then I could go to 3, and you can help out. And when you finish, that's it. That is how you beat it. And when you guys beat it for the first time, you'll be screaming like we were screaming too. This is my actual first run, and I decided to do the video off that one just because we were so happy about doing it. And I think it's just really something special that a lot of you guys, once you guys learn to do it, you guys will enjoy it. I can remember when I first started doing the raid, it was a pain. Like I was frustrated. I didn't know what we were doing wrong. I didn't know what was wrong in our game plan, but it was a lot of communication. And once you get that communication, you kind of know the tactics, it becomes really easy. Now let's get into the outside guys, because the outside guys are crucial. They keep the ads off of the guys on the inside. They help with the drones. They make sure that those dogs aren't sniping them, because dogs come in. When these drones are coming, if there's ads on the guys on the inside, you got to be in there. You got to be covering your side. Right now I'm on 2, but I came over here to help out, because if you don't get rid of those drones, they can end up dropping the guys on the inside. So helping them out with drones, and make sure you're taking out as many ads as possible, because you don't want these ads adding up. And last but not least, make sure you're paying attention to Boomer, because when Boomer comes down, you should be able to drop him by yourself. Like I'm able to take out Boomer with my DPS, with the amount of damage to elites, with one of the builds I put on there for you solo. I can drop him by myself without my teammate helping me. Now, if you do need your teammate helping you, that's fine. Just make sure he knows that he has to back you up, right? Because if you need backup, just call out. That's what communication is there. Your battle buddy is on the inside, and he should always have your back. You should always have his back. And as long as you guys are working as a team, you guys should complete this perfectly fine. But yeah, the outside guys have it pretty easy. Their job is really to clear all the ads, ask for help with boomers when needed, and the inside guys do a lot of the work. Make sure once you guys complete it, you guys are paying attention to these monitors. Don't mess up at the very end. Everybody head back. Once you finish the monitors, split off to go help out somebody else. So we finish off 2. We are going to push to 3. So once 3 comes up, we can shoot it a little bit and help them with the DPS, because the faster you can shoot it, the more DPS you can have on it, the faster you guys can complete this, and that way you guys don't mess up. And once you guys destroy all the monitors, that's GG. I hope this tutorial helps you guys out. I hope this gets more of you guys more confident in finding teams. If you guys still haven't found a team, check out my Discord. There's been a lot of people in there saying, hey, looking for group for 1, 2, we're missing somebody. Do you have a build? Make sure you guys go in there with builds. Don't join a group, say, hey, I want to do the raid, and then you go in there with a horrible build, and then they get mad at you because you didn't have a really good build. Like, focus on your build, guys. Like, grind a little bit, work on those builds first, and then go after the raid, because you're going to have a lot easier time completing the raid with a good build. Remember, there will be timestamps for each boss in the description box. I want to thank you guys again for all the support. If you're new to my channel, first time watching any of my videos, and you enjoyed this tutorial, hit the subscribe button, turn notification bell on, so when I release more videos, you get notified. As always, if you want to see any more content for the Division 2, you can check out my main channel, Nothing But Skills. I appreciate all the support. Thank you guys again, and until the next video, Nothing But Skills out.